So that means we're going to tackle this topic together, and I've become much more of an expert in this overnight than I had planned to be. So anyway, but as entrepreneurs, individually operating a small business, it requires incredible time management. A lot of you know I keep a half an hour by hour type of a spread type of a sheet. I don't use my phone for that. But we must be constantly on the hunt for time-saving strategies that enable us to support, superiorly serve our customers and creatively implement marketing, and then aggressively harvest new opportunities, as well as maintaining those, kind of more seasoned clients with us who've been with us for years. So thankfully, Andrew the Android, that's been inception on television, which I just get a kick every time I see that little commercial. But the Andrew Floyd that jumps out, he's in a tuxedo and all this sort of stuff. This is our mobile telephony that can help us. And a lot of you kind of talked about some of the things that you like to use maybe, or you're not sure about using. But I think there was a lot of things that were potentially overlooked in ways that we can use these tech toys that we have to get together. So the challenge, of course, for us is making time to invest and investigate applications and find the right resources. And so thankfully, our favorite tech junkies, like from CIT and from CNET and things like that, and CIO, help us with reviews. So we can only find time to read them. Right? So regularly attending the Business Strategy and Technology Forum, obviously, members gain business bites of technological advancements through our fortnightly discussion to help us kind of with the time problem. And I thank those kind of online publications and other geek review magazines that I do read in the laboratory for assisting with that presentation. So on the challenges that we have when we acquire these new tech toys, including computers, smartphones, and tablets, it's keeping them all in sync. So let's begin there. Now, there's plenty of room on the front side of your agenda, as well as the back side, for you to take any type of notes that you like. The first group that we're going to talk about, I'm going to give you some titles on, and if you don't have an agenda, I'm going to have, I'll let you borrow the back side, and then I'll leave the front side a little later because I've got my notes on it, but there you go, and then you can So, back to the first. So the first group is all about syncing, and every single one of these applications has the secondary part of the name of syncing. Okay, so when it comes to Andrew the Android, or the Apple's Annie, if you will, per se, for your iPhone people, file syncing is something that's kind of important. Okay, so for us to be able to do, and so the right application for that is going to be Dropbox or Google Apps. Those are some of the easiest, fastest to learn kind of technology that allows you to have your files connected across the different platforms. Because right now some of you have the smartphones or the iPhones, but you're thinking about getting a tablet because it makes it a little bit easier in presentations, right? When you're presenting to the affluent client or things like that. So that would be a file that would work. Then we have the other issue of email. Like, I don't have yet my email on this because I'm just like, I don't want to be interrupted in the middle of a client needing an email. So I've made a personal choice not to do that. But for other people, like Megan, you probably need that because you need to know who's coming, who's not coming, and whatnot to different showings. And so probably Gmail, a part of Google Apps, is going to be the best way to do that. And that one is called, obviously, email syncing. All right? Other pieces are going to be calendar syncing. Okay, because some days you're going to have your iPhone, sometimes you leave that in the office, and then you've got your tablet with you. So the calendar syncing is going to be, of course, again through Gmail, great free applications through Google Apps. Then we have the bookmark syncing. Well, there might be certain sites that you want to be able to go to show your clients so they have additional resources, either for financial services, or perhaps you're trying to, be able to quickly show on an iPad, your magazine online, things like that. You obviously have travel destinations and different files. So in order to do that, you're going to probably want Chrome or Delicious. And those are the names of the programs that you'll probably want to do. Okay. Then, of course, something that, I love about having a phone that has a decent camera is that I can actually take pictures of things I want to remember. It's how I learn anyway. But for people who are more of the writers and want to actually write in one night, as a particular buying code is or something, or take notes, Evernote is a great kind of tool to be able to do that.
Wait a minute, stop there.
Yes.
So you can take a photo, so is that a photo and then a note below the photo?
I believe there is an app for that. I don't personally do that. I actually take a picture of a product, like if I'm walking through a store and going, oh, that's a great product, I want to pick that up. I just don't want to do it now because I'm going to value engineer my purchase. I really look to see is that the right price. So I can take a photo of it. At the same time, something about QR coding, you can actually take a picture of the QR code and it will go hunt for the right price, the best price.
Right, well in my case, what I'm thinking about is, I have to take pictures of homes.
Yeah.
And so when I go out, I usually try to save it one day so I can go, so I'm not spending, every time I write something, I have to go home, take pictures, home, take a picture.
There is an app for that.
And then, I want to make sure that I don't screw up and go, okay, what was this?
Right.
Whose address was this?
Yes, there is an app for that. I'm sorry I didn't remember to bring the name up, but I will send it to you via email. So yes, there is an app for that, and specific to insurance too, because there's a fella in the GKIC group that I attend that is using that for his insurance reviewing business.
Okay, so that's not Evernote.
No, it's not Evernote. Evernote is just a plain old note kind of program.
Does Evernote organize by your calendar? You can remind yourself?
Well, that's a great question. Since I don't use my calendar on my phone, I don't know, but I will make a note of that and we'll get the answer for you. Okay, so everybody knows that nowadays the QR codes, we've had a discussion about this, weeks ago, and things tied into all the other things we had since with Polly or Jane's presentation and things like that. And so QR readers are really kind of essential for you for viewing marketing integrations with paper mailings and things like that. So you probably want to there's something called QR Reader. It's really simple. Yeah.
I was just in continuing ed through my through real estate, and there's a better QR reader than
Awesome.
that.
Okay.
It is Neo Reader.
Neo? Oh, great. So that means they're from the CD folks, the CD, Neo writing CDs, which means it's going to be a great product.
Yeah, Neo Reader is better than QR Reader. They told NEO Reader.
Yeah, like the rap artist. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so now these are web apps and platforms, that kind of relate to this new concept of cloud. Now, for most of us, cloud's not really something we're going to interact a lot with. Maybe Jane might, maybe Mike might, but the rest of us at this particular table today are probably not going to interact much more significantly with cloud. Which I'm sure most of you know about it as a discussion for another day. But now I want to share with you some applications you might not be thinking about that are good for any small business, okay? And these applications, those were kind of predominantly, I think, maybe free applications you can download. But these are going to be applications that are like $5 each or maybe $5 a month for use, okay? So the first one that's a free one, which is really cool, is this voice record. Profile, which is wonderful because if you do not have a Google Voice number which allows you to kind of give yourself a little bit of privacy and change your cell phone number or change providers, or just, maybe you don't, want everybody to have direct access to you. If you don't have a Google app, if you have Google Voice, you can actually record calls in the midst of the call, so that you can have notes if you're in the car or whatever. And for lawyers, they use it obviously to record the conversation. Realtors as well, use this type of a situation. So for those of you who don't have Google Voice, Voice Record is a great tool that you can hit the button on while you're talking, and it will record the call. So it's a great kind of safety driving situation that you can turn on as the call comes in or as you take the call. But of course, I believe the laws in Indiana is that you must notify the person. So I know in my Google Voice will say the call is now being recorded, and I probably just did it with my beard or something. But so they will be told at least auditorily that it will be. The next one then would be CAM card. CAM card. So CAM as in camera, CAM card. And this is to your networking friend to help you capture business card images with a phone-based camera. So it recognizes the card's images content, it automatically saves his contact info into the phone or address book, and it creates basically a card holder, you know, like a Rolodex. It includes email signature recognition or QR code generation and recognition. So some cards have QR codes on them. Well, I know I'm just trying to get reminding so I can get my next QR code on. So, you know, that's something to know about. The next one for business owners is the balance book. This is a profit tracker. Everybody wants to be profitable, yeah. So for bookkeeping apps, it helps you track your small business profits with ease and reliability. For those, especially for those of you who maybe are like, you know, our valued partner here with Tracy, all her entire business is online. So she, you know, if she was using a cell phone, or she had an assistant who had that and was her bookkeeper, then she would be able to look at how things were progressing. But again, everybody's got their reasons for why they do things. So then the neat thing about this is it plays well with Dropbox, it plays well with Google Documents and emails, and it has some sassy stuff like price, loan, and math calculators. And it works with 34 different currencies, which is kind of cool for you international affiliate marketing folks like me, Tracy, and a few of you. It means you've got stuff that sells online while you're sleeping. Okay, so then we've got inventory tracker, which obviously is for an inventory. Let's use inventory in terms of maybe you're selling lessons. It's still a product conceptually. So you can track how many lessons you sold a month, or something like that, or how many music gigs you had a month, or you know how many new ads maybe you sold, that sort of thing. So anyway, things can be recorded as stock, and you can create multiple categories, multiple companies, locations, suppliers, and clients, as well as personalization for your small business specific needs. You can output the inventory reports on instant spreadsheets. So that's kind of cool too. Then there's, for anyone who's actually doing something with a shipping product, and most of us don't want to get into that, but if you are, there is something called Package Tracker Pro, which allows you to follow your parcel one way or another. Then there's Expensify, for those of us who do a lot of driving to interact with clients, probably a great tool for Jane, where it's for maintaining those spending reports on the go, linking with your bank accounts, which means an automatic receipt generation option and tracking capability. It reduces the need of paper receipts because you just scan them right in and convert that into a digital copy.
I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Can you repeat the name of that?
Yeah, that is Expensify.
The one thing Briar has to do after the hard receipts is just put on it.
Yeah, I'm old-fashioned. I glue them into a pink page, a red notebook. So, and income goes in a green page, green notebook. You know, not tough. Yes.
I mean, it's great to have them for filing and.
Well, yeah, especially if you're trying to get to your accounting team.
Yeah, you just can't.
Absolutely. Or if you have to report that to someone for reimbursement.
Not as good on it.
You need to get into the 21st century.
Okay, next is time clock. This is awesome for people like insurance agents, financial planners, lawyers, guys in my industry. It allows us to record our billable hours for measuring client interaction. Okay, so maybe you've got a client who calls you on the phone, and you know that's the great thing about Google Voices, that will tell you how long you talk. But this will actually help you to work on your computer. If you're working on a project, it'll keep time for how long you're working on that project. So that's kind of nice. You can input hourly and fixed rates, and you can track even when your phone is off, which is kind of cool. It offers e-tail, if you will, notes, edit times that you can do. You can edit the thing later, and you can export the information into a spreadsheet. So that's kind of cool. Now, for a lot of us, that is time clock.
Wait, can you go into detail on that one? Do you use that?
I've just started to, so I don't have enough. I will report back to you next time how it's going, but I do have a lot of colleagues who do use it. And literally, when I start to create a job, you know, because that's a hard part for me, I'm constantly shifting gears, so it's hard for me to stay on top of how long was I with that client, you know, because when he's done, we're done, as opposed to, you know, so most of the time on those situations, and especially in graphic design, some projects will take 5 minutes, others can take 10 hours. I mean, a brand design can take a minimum of at least 10 hours. Most people don't realize that unless they get to come to my office and sit with me and I'm going, oh my God, I have no idea it took that long to create that. Yeah.
But we open up the keys and the time clock
It
tracks
just, yeah,
time.
am I working on the computer and all that, yeah. It's pretty cool. Might help to, with productivity for employees. Okay, the next one that might be a good one for a lot of us here is Small Business Toolbox. And this provides current information not only on government programs for small businesses, and this is an indispensable resource because it allows us to search for loans and grants, information on awards, solicitations, other resources for green businesses, different types of small business programs, maybe researching clients. That's something I've been doing a little bit. I don't do full research, but I will look them up on a certain place just to make sure they're in my food target, or maybe they just can't afford more. So that might be something to look at. Now, invoices. Some of you do create invoices for your work. So Invoice to Go allows you to create, preview, and email professional invoices and estimates. The desktop version is customizable, where you can put your logo and stuff on it, which is cool, and has flexible fields you can make adjustments to, or your accounting company. Locales, it's locale with an E on the end, and then apostrophe S, is advanced artificial intelligence. It manages settings automatically when you're, and the cool thing about that is, so if you're going to a client and you've set in there, look on your time schedule, it allows you to automatically, it'll just automatically shut your phone off or down. It'll control the ring when you're in meetings, which is really cool. Because how many of us, most of the time mine is off, and then every once in a while turn it on, and then it interrupts a meeting, and you're like, okay. So it's a cool tool on that. It also offers some professional branding. I mean, if you are someone who has to go into offices, maybe you normally have a really hot jazzy dance piece as your ringer, but when you go into a client's office, it's something very subdued. The same thing with your phone screen. You might have your girlfriend on your screen most of the time, but then when you go in the office, it's like this serene vista. So, there are some cool things about it. The next one, of course, is Quick Office Pro, which most of you probably are aware of. It allows you to work with Word documents, Excel spreadsheets, PowerPoint presentations. It does nicely with things like anything by Google Docs, Dropbox, Box.net, Huddle, SugarSync, all these things that we're probably all just learning about ourselves, so they seem a little overwhelming. File Manager, it does include a PDF viewer, so that's a good thing. Then this other tool is really awesome. It's called Print. Really simple. It enables you to quickly and easily print out photos, contacts, and phone numbers, or print out web pages to read later, but you can do that just about anywhere. It lets you access any wireless network easily without all the passwords to do that printing. And what I mean is not the wireless network, but the wireless printer. Okay. So that's not a security issue. And that's called Print. Single MyPad is a simple-to-use PDF reader and annotation tool. So you don't have to print documents anymore to sign them. Okay, you can then find a fax machine or scanner to send them back to whoever they need to go to. I would think this would be essential in either insurance or realty. With Sign My Pad, you can load the PDF right from your email or Dropbox, add text, date, and signature, and email it right back out of the app.
That's called Sign My Pad.
Yeah.
Sign My Pad.
You probably run into this one.
I have to do a lot of it.
Yeah, you have to.
You may still need a hard copy, but if you're trying to expedite things along, I don't know. So,
But sometimes there's the legal issue behind it. Like we use E-Verify through my company, but it's through zip forms, so that kind of paired together. But even some realtors in my business won't accept e-signatures, and even I've had some mortgage companies be like, you need to get a letter from your client, state, and so it gets to the point where you're just kind of like, oh, forget it, I'll just.
okay.
Yeah.
So but
I'll do
that's
the
great
personal
because,
touch.
that tells us about the legalities. So, but in some other businesses, you may not.
Yeah, and it might not be an issue for for somebody else. But
Great.
so
That's great. That's good. Okay, Splash Remote Desktop is the next one. It allows you to access your PC or Mac from anywhere, bringing the full Windows or Mac experience to your Android device.
What did you call that again?
That's Splash Top Remote Desktop.
Splash top.
Splash Top one word. Like I'm splashing in the water. If you have an Android tablet,
Sorry, what again?
based